Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ace Attorney Investigations. So last time, investigations concluded in the defendant lobby number 2, and now Miles and Franziska have turned to investigating the hallway just outside for any and all clues, and there was a veritable bounty of clues. Some serious shenaniganry occurred out here, involving poor hapless Gumshoe, a sweet roll, and a little girl. And a pop balloon, apparently, I think. So all we have left to do here, I think, is speak with Mr. Bad, and then put some logic together. Detective Bad, I have something I wish to inquire about. Hey, how about doing some actual work, you? Wish to inquire into Detective Gumshoe's movements during the recess. You're getting in the way of the investigation. I have an order from Mr. Von Karma himself, plus I still hold investigative authority. Alright, one thing at a time with this guy, I suppose. Let's see if he has anything to say about any evidence. Does showing that off make you feel like a big, strong prosecutor? That's glorious. Of course not. I was simply proving my title of prosecutor to you. Wait, I think we've seen this actually. I see, but most prosecutors don't go around flaunting those things. It's like a detective walking around outside with his badge flashing in the sunlight. Show that off too much, and before you know it, you'll be elbow deep in angry criminals. That would definitely be a problem. Okay. How about the original KG-8 incident overview? You worked on this. The KG-8 incident. I heard that you were involved in this case as well. Yeah. That's all you have to say? It was an unpleasant case that I don't wish to recall. I've got a lot of regrets I'll never forget related to that. Regrets I'll take to the grave. Does he really have that many regrets? On the other hand, thinking back on what I know, I suppose he just might. Makes sense. Any thoughts on the bloody knife? Detective Bad, I'd like to ask you about this piece of evidence. Did you just face the other way? Humph, what a narcissist. He'd rather look at his face than the evidence. Don't trust your eyes all the time, little girl. I can see the evidence. I'll keep an eye on the two of you with this mirror. What? Why don't you answer? Because I've got nothing to say, that's all. Understood. Why couldn't he have just said that at the very beginning? Anything on Gumshoe's testimony? No. Yeah, I think this game's been pretty light on unique dialogue for showing evidence to people, honestly. How about Gumshoe's bonus? No. I wish he did have something to say, it'd probably be really funny. A Swiss roll? No. Okay then, let's get into actual dialogue. So I hear you are the one who called for Detective Gumshoe to come down here. Faraday. That guy was just accused, you know. I just knew something was gonna happen. My detective's instinct told me. A lot of good it did you. You couldn't even protect one lone prosecutor with it. Ooh. Franziska, I think you need to apologize. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry, Detective. Detective Bad, please continue. Ugh, those eyes. Ugh. I used the phone on the first floor, called the precinct. I told them to send somebody over. And that detective's the one that showed up. And only upon his arrival did you set Detective Gumshoe to stand guard, Detective Bad. Yeah, I waited for him on the first floor. After he got here, we came to these defendant lobbies together. As we entered this hallway, we ran into you. She came out of lobby number 1. That's good to note. She told us that Faraday was really mad, and that he dragged Rel off to lobby number 2 to have a word or something. And that Faraday had said to not let anyone interrupt them. So what choice did I have? All I could do was tell the big lug to stand guard outside. And around what time did all of that take place? Let's see, I think it was about 30 minutes before I heard the gunshot. After giving the big lug his assignment, he never left the hallway, not once. Oh? And how can you make such a claim? One of the guards out in this floor's main lobby swore to me he didn't. If the detective never left the hallway, then where did he disappear off to? That's simple. He must have gone into lobby number 2, just as I suspected. You and I... Phrasing. We were in lobby number 1 next door. The only one without an alibi is Gumshoe. It would seem that I am still missing some key pieces of information. You know who could give him an alibi? K. Faraday. Detective Bad, you also heard the gunshot, did you not? Yeah. I heard it when I was in defendant lobby number 1. That's why I came running towards lobby number 2 together with you. These pauses in his speech are a bit suspicious. How much time elapsed between you hearing the gunshot and your arrival on the scene? Less than a minute. That's 60 seconds is a long time to go from one room to the next. What were your movements upon hearing the gunshot? I grabbed the big lug who was just walking around in the hall and raced into lobby number 2. And that's when we discovered the bodies, in that order. That makes you the discoverer of the crime scene, right? Yeah, I guess it does, little miss. I'm about to become a prosecutor very soon. You will treat me with the dignity I deserve, or else. He dodged it! He did it! I saw his sprite wiggle. He dodged it! You wave that thing around anymore, and I'll have you arrested for obstruction, little miss. You wouldn't dare. Just joking. Oh. Detective Bad is really something if he can make Franziska behave. Are we about done? Is there anything else I should ask him about? I want to see what he has to say about all this. Well, we did hear Gumshoe say that it happened around 3:40. What was the exact time? I'd like for you to tell me the exact time you heard the gunshot. It was around the end of the recess, and the trial was about to start again, I think. He was supposed to make time for himself to transfer the evidence he was holding, but I got the sense he wasn't gonna show for the handoff. So I figured I should go get him, or he'd be late. And just as I thought that, bang, the sound of a gunshot hit my eardrums. So he heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to restart, huh? Ho-ho! Are we done here? I don't have any time to waste. Oh, come on! All you're doing is standing in front of the store, doing nothing! I get the sense that he is somewhat investigating this crime scene. Or rather, that he is keeping us under surveillance. But to what end? Detective Bad, may I ask that you cooperate with us for just a bit longer? I don't have anything else to say to the two of you. You guys were the ones who said you wanted to investigate in the first place. Fine then, be obstinate. We'll just do as we please. Come on, Miles. You may no longer be willing to help us. However, may I ask for the forensic scientist's cooperation? Do as you like. Okay, thank you, Mr. Bad. If we got that testimony from him as evidence in the organizer, I guess that was the right choice to make, huh? Okay, well, let's put some logic together. This should be really obvious. Let's see. Vending machine and Swiss roll crumbs. These are obviously connected. These bits of chocolate and cake, could they not have come from a Swiss roll? A Swiss roll? Why would a courthouse sell a thing like that? It may not seem like the right venue, however, it is being sold right over there. The vending machine. Ah, I see. Stay neutral as the Swiss do until the end with these. 2 for $6, talk about expensive. Leaving the fact that it's on the expensive side aside, the fact that the cake crumbs and chocolate bits were found in this hallway suggests that they come from a Swiss roll that was purchased from this machine. I think I have a pretty clear picture of what happened here now. Huh, naturally. After all, I'm here, aren't I? Detective Gumshoe must have sat on this bench as he ate a Swiss roll. And as he ate, he dropped it on the floor and sullied the bench. Ah, how could he have not cleaned up after himself? How utterly despicable! Don't you dare whip me again! It wasn't I who made the mess in the first place. Anyway, if it was indeed Detective Gumshoe who bought the Swiss roll, that creates a rather interesting contradiction of facts. A contradiction? Where? I think another look at the special courthouse vending machine is in order. Let's see. I think this contradicts. Now we have deduce. Yeah. The Swiss roll costs $6. However, Gumshoe literally only had $5 to his name. About Detective Gumshoe's finances, he said that until this morning, he didn't have even a single penny on his personage. Just how poor is that guy? If his bonus really was only $5, then he should not have been able to purchase a pack of Swiss rolls. However, facts being as they are, we found cake crumbs on the floor. Meaning Scruffy must have bought a pack somehow. Indeed. That detective should not have been able to purchase a pack, and yet he did. The question is, how? Okay. Wait, so my health bar, I noticed that. It's pretty low, isn't it? I didn't get healed after the, testimony phase ended last time. That sucks. Okay, well, I really hope Miles is able to put it together that a balloon popped. This pink rubbery substance. I saw this in a different form earlier today. I believe this is a piece of a popped balloon. I suppose that's possible. The balloon probably got a little too close to our friend, the windowsill cactus. That would be the logical conclusion, yes. Nice. Oh, good. I'm healed as well. I'm glad because I had no more ideas on what to do after that. I believe I now have a very firm grasp on what happened here. Well, I do too. Alright, Franziska, would you care to share what conclusions you've come to? Balls in her court? Why should I do that? We're still in the middle of the competition, you know. Good save. We should be checking to see if your conclusions are wrong first, so you go ahead. She's adorable. It's almost cute that she's going this far to ensure that she wins. Almost. Very well, but first we need to pay His Honor a visit to correct his testimony. Oh man, we're in the courtroom. Oh man. Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to test your witness testimony to see how it stands up. Do you doubt me? Am I your new suspect? In a sense, I suppose you could say that. Even you, a judge, is nothing but a common witness before a Von Karma. Silence in the courtroom! Silence, I said! Mr. New Prosecutor recommended by Manfred Von Karma and Miss Genius Prosecutor successor to Manfred Von Karma. You bit your tongue again, didn't you? As a defender of the law, I could never give false testimony. You can even place me under oath if you want. Very well, then. Your testimony, if you please. What I saw at recess. I can't believe we're cross-examining the judge. Oh man, this is surreal. Okay. During the recess, I went to the restroom. Damn, that's a long ways to go. There is a window on the hallway side. In other words, I could see into the hallway. As I entered, I saw the detective buying something from the vending machines. But when I was about to exit the restroom, he had completely disappeared. A detective that goes missing while on duty. That sounds mighty suspicious to me. Your Honor, can you please try to remain calm? Oh. I'm so used to simply listening to testimonies that I got caught up in the excitement. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to spoil your fun now. Okay, well, it's obvious that Gumshoe was sitting down beneath the window and so would disappear from view, but how do we prove this exactly? During the recess, I went to the restroom. Okay. I want pressing this to immediately damage my health bar. This is going to be the best. Your Honor, why exactly did you pay a visit to the restroom, if I may ask? Oh, well, isn't it obvious? What else do you go to the restroom for? Or maybe, I knew it. You suspect me of some sort of tomfoolery, don't you? Please, stay calm, Your Honor. This is going to be much harder than I anticipated. I'm sorry. You're right, I need to think things through with a level head. I'm just nervous because so much has happened today with this trial. Let's see. I announced a recess and a time for us to reconvene. But having done all that, I still wasn't able to go to the restroom right away. And why couldn't you? Mr. Faraday had been accused, so I had paperwork to process regarding a new prosecutor. Once I had finished that, I was finally able to make a mad dash to the restroom. At least he stayed consistent on the going to the restroom part of his testimony. There is a window on the hallway side. In other words, I could see into the hallway. Your Honor, did you really go to the men's restroom? What is the meaning of that statement? I simply meant that perhaps you went to a restroom on a different floor. I had to go for such a long time. It was all I could do to dash to the closest one into the courtroom. I suppose that's only natural, given his circumstances. I ran from the courtroom, through this floor's main lobby and down the hallway. Once you enter, you can see there's a window just above the urinals. And it was through that window that you witnessed Detective Gumshoe, Your Honor. Yes, exactly. Your Honor, there is no need for you to yell. I can hear you just fine. Oh, I guess I put a little too much into the last answer. Now then, let's continue with the testimony. As I entered, I saw the detective buying something from the vending machines. Are you sure that the person you witnessed was Detective Gumshoe, Your Honor? Yes, I'm absolutely sure. It's hard to miss someone of his stature, even from as far away as the restroom. Besides, I can't think of anyone else with that kind of hairstyle and big beige coat. Well, I was simply wondering if you were mistaken in what you saw. What? Preposterous. My eyes are sharp as can be, ready to see through lies to the truth. Although, recently, things do seem to be a bit fuzzier than they used to be. Clearly his eyes are not the only things that have gone fuzzy. But allow me to say with all the honor and dignity of a judge, I am not mistaken in what I saw. But when I was about to exit the restroom, he had completely disappeared. He disappeared? But Your Honor, didn't you just say, I saw that detective buying something from the vending machines? Why, yes I did. Boy, they really like showing this diagram off, huh? The restroom window looks over the courtyard and right into the hallway. But just as I was about to exit, I took another look, and there was no one in sight. That led me to the only solution to this mystery. That detective must have gone into the crime scene lobby number 2 at that point. So he looked into the hallway from the restroom and over the courtyard, did he? A detective that goes missing while on duty. That sounds mighty suspicious to me. Your Honor, I ask that you please remain calm. No. I'm perfectly calm. You're being anything but perfectly calm. It appears that His Honor could not have been mistaken in what he saw. I suppose so, given his line of sight. However, Franziska, why do you suppose our lines of sight are so different? If you're referring to my height... Can't you hold that whip still for just a second? Now, about His Honor's testimony. I believe his line of sight to be an important factor. If it's that important, why don't you hurry up and tell him already? I will, but there is one more thing I need to do if I'm to correct His Honor's testimony. I'm going to need to retrace Detective Gumshoe's movements. Right. So I suppose... I need to contradict this. He had completely disappeared. No, he didn't. In fact, he was closer to you than you thought. Let's see. Nope. Gumshoe sat here as he ate a Swiss roll. This is it. Oh, what was that finger wag for, Mr. Edgeworth? And don't you know it's rude to shout objection while someone is giving testimony? Okay. If you truly are a man of the law, then you must always be vigilant. For example, I myself never let an opportunity to shout objection pass me by. Miles Edgeworth, it's one thing to be passionate about your job, but this is real life. This is what some people may say is the pot calling the kettle black. Your Honor, I wonder if you might take a look at this for me. What is that filth? How dare someone dirty the hallway bench like that? Who is the culprit? That party is hereby found guilty of uncleanliness. If you must know, the uncouth bench sullier has already been placed under arrest, thanks to your earlier testimony, Your Honor. Oh? Well, that's good. But who was it? We were able to discover something from the smudge on the bench. Namely, Detective Gumshoe's fingerprints. Not happy with committing just murder, he had to go and dirty the courthouse too? Guilty. Your Honor, please calm down. While it's true that the detective is the one who made the mess on the bench, we have not yet established that his action is related to the double murder. What do you mean? I believe that the detective bought a pack of Swiss rolls from the vending machine, and then promptly sat down on the bench to eat one. The cake crumbs and pieces of chocolate on the floor under the bench, and Detective Gumshoe's fingerprints prove my conclusions to be true. Oh, but I still don't understand. Is this whole thing related to how I couldn't see him as I was leaving the restroom? It is indeed. The window in the hallway was built rather high up into the wall, at around a grown adult's chest height. As evidence, I submit that Franziska herself was unable to see out of that window. Oh, she mad. No! I knew I shouldn't have used her height as evidence. But basically, what this means is that the area directly under the hallway window is a blind spot when the hallway is being viewed from the men's restroom. Then... It seems that you have made the connection. If someone were to sit on the bench under the window... Yes, even someone as large as Detective Gumshoe would effectively disappear from sight. What? Do you finally see, Your Honor? Your testimony has just proven that Detective Gumshoe was in the hallway the entire time. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to say it with that much enthusiasm. All I wanted to do was try saying it for once. Here, let me try that again. Hold it. Is there something of value you'd like to say? Yes, actually there is. I remembered something else just now. Mr. Edgeworth, please allow me to testify to the court one more time. Even if we overruled him, he'd just keep on talking, wouldn't he? That might not be a bad thing. The more info, the better in a perfect investigation, right? What I saw, part 2. I suppose it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom window. However, that doesn't mean that the detective was sitting there when I looked. Anyway, I forgot to testify earlier about probably the most important detail. As I was leaving the restroom, I heard the loud bang of a gunshot. How was that? That is a testimony of one who judges the crimes of others. Your Honor, could you try to state the important facts first next time? I agree. Before you go around judging others, you should learn to judge your own words. I'm sorry. But honestly, I thought that sound was just a noise popper until just now. It was, actually. Now that he mentions it, right before we restarted the trial, he did talk about that. Oh, by the way, was there someone celebrating a birthday during the recess? I could have sworn that I heard a popper going off. Come to think of it, the other day with my grandson. The most critical point in this argument is when did the judge look into the hallway, and whether that lines up with when the gun was actually fired. Your Honor, if I may, I'd like to clarify a few details in your testimony. I suppose it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom window. Hold it! In that case, do you concede that you were overconfident in your last testimony? Now hold on there. I just said that it's possible you can't see a seated person from the restroom this time. That phrasing's a bit odd. But you know something? I don't think you know when the prints you referenced were left on that bench, do you? Ugh. While you have proven that it's possible that detective was sitting, I still have a problem with just when those fingerprints were left. He's right. I have yet to prove when the fingerprints were left on that bench. While he feigns ignorance, His Honor has seen a lot of life. This judge, I mustn't underestimate him. However, that doesn't mean that the detective was sitting there when I looked. As we established, you went to the restroom during the recess. However, at what point in the recess did you look into that hallway? After I called for a recess, I handled the change of prosecutor paperwork. Maybe about 20 minutes until we reconvened. Yes, that sounds about right. Okay. Mr. Bad said that the gunshot went off just before they reconvened, or were about to reconvene. 20 minutes is a considerable difference in time. Just as I expected. What were you expecting? And I demand to know what that all-knowing smile is for. Yeah, it wasn't the gunshot you heard. Both Bad and the judge are correct in that they heard pops. But Bad heard the gunshot, the judge heard the balloon. Your Honor, that statement you made just now is very important. I'd like for you to append it to your testimony. Well, all right, if you insist. Let's see, I looked into that hallway about 20 minutes before we were to reconvene. Let's see, Bad's testimony. Almost Christmas means it wasn't Christmas. Objection! You're on. I cannot allow you to make an objection. What? Your Honor, I'm really sorry, but I cannot allow you to not allow me to make an objection. Egad, I've been overruled. Your Honor, there are simply too many holes in testimony for my taste. What do you mean by that? You claim that you heard the gunshot during the recess, but that is simply not possible. Mr. New Prosecutor recommended by Manfred von Black. Instead of biting your tongue... Oh, man, this text goes too fast, man. I see you have no mercy for the elderly either, Franziska. Huh, don't talk back to me unless you want to be whipped in the back. With your height, you'd need a stepladder or 4 to accomplish that. Ooh! Damn! Ahem, Mr. Edgeworth. My ears are not that far gone yet. Yet I'll have you know, I can still hear just fine. And I heard the sound of a gunshot loud and clear with my own 2 ears. Your Honor, I have heard an interesting bit of testimony. Or hear an interesting bit of testimony. It's from Detective Bad. And according to him, he heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to start again. What did you just say? Your Honor, you just said that you heard the gunshot about 20 minutes before we were to reconvene. How do you explain this glaring contradiction? That can't be. Unfortunately, that is the truth. But I heard it clear as day. Bang! The loud sound of a gunshot. The sound of the gunshot. We keep returning to this point of contention. And that piece of evidence, I always did wonder why I found it where I did. However, now I understand what the gunshot the judge heard really was. Unfortunately, Your Honor, this is what really produced the gunshot you heard. Balloon piece. I found this object in the hallway earlier. What is that pink substance? It may not look it, but this is actually a piece of a balloon. I see. And I suppose you would like me to accept that pink balloon into the court record. Your Honor, I present this piece of evidence in order to overrule your testimony. What? Your Honor, your argument goes as follows. You saw no one in the hallway when you heard the gunshot. Now, there is no guarantee that the detective was sitting on the bench at that time. Therefore, you believe he must have been at the crime scene, defendant lobby number 2. Am I correct? Yes, that's exactly right. Let me ask you something. Do you think that the gunshot you heard was produced by a real gun? I think I've said enough that even you can figure the rest out on your own. Your Honor, you were fooled by the popping of this balloon into thinking it was a gunshot. What manner of trickery is this? That was a good effort you put forth, Miles Edgeworth. But if it was me, I'd have wrapped this thing up before the judge even testified. Care to elaborate on how one ends something before it even begins? Well, to be honest, I did think that the sound was a bit off from a real gunshot sound. But who could have guessed that someone would pop a balloon in a place like this? That's true. One doesn't usually think balloons in conjunction with courthouse. She did have a balloon. I want to trade these coins with you. That's it. That balloon that girl was holding. It explains everything. Your Honor, if it makes you feel any better, you didn't lie once in your testimony. However, I can't really vouch for its accuracy. Ugh. Who knew that giving testimony could be such a difficult thing to do? What have I done? I owe Detective Gumshoe a very big apology. I will see to it myself that he is released. Wait. There are still a few things I have yet to resolve about what happened in the hallway. Your Honor, I request your permission to further question Detective Gumshoe. But why? I thought we just cleared his name. Whether we did just now or not, I still cannot say. Yeah, sad as it is to say, that is the truth. The only thing I can do for now is to continue my quest for the perfect explanation. And to that end, I must resolve the remaining issues pertaining to the events that occurred in the hallway. Very well. Bailiff, please bring Detective Gumshoe into the courtroom. I must fulfill my mission and find the perfect explanation to this case. What is it now? Is it time for my trial already? I've already told you a gazillion times, pal. I didn't do it. I'll be the judge of that, Detective Gumshoe. No, you won't. I'll be the judge of that. No. I'm the judge around here, and I'll be the judge of that. Why can't you guys be a little less judgmental? Yes, well, speaking of hasty judgments, Detective Gumshoe, I'm afraid I must apologize for an error in judgment on my part. Your Honor, I don't believe you should apologize just yet. We have yet to prove he is completely innocent of this crime. I guess so. What are you guys talking about? In any case, I would like you to testify as to your actions while you were on guard duty. And please remember, you are not on trial. This is all just a part of the investigation. As such, you may still be found to be innocent. However, if you should give false testimony... Yow! My whip will object loud and clear. If you are found to be lying, you'll be held indefinitely. Understood? I gotcha, pal. Thinking back on the state of the crime scene and the judge's testimony, it's obvious that Detective Gumshoe is lying. And if I can't break his lie, then we may never get a break in this case. While I was on duty, bring it on. He's covering for K, but why? I came down here to this courthouse on Detective Bad's orders. That's true. As soon as I got here, he ordered me to stand guard in front of lobby number 2. That's also true. From that time on, until I heard the gunshot, I was in that hallway the whole time. That is probably true. On my honor as a detective, I swear it wasn't me, pal. That's also true. We need to get more information out of him. He's still singing the same tired tune. In that case, I'll just have to change the melody. I know he's lying, and it's time I pulled the information I need out of him. I came down here to this courthouse on Detective Bad's orders. Oh wait, I need to press that, that's right. So, was it really Detective Bad who called you down here? You bet it was, pal. I was left in charge of the precinct while everyone was out, and this call comes in. I want you down here in 1 minute flat, he said. Well, I thought this was my big chance, my first case, so I made a mad dash down here. Although, I couldn't exactly get here in a minute flat. So how long did it take you? About 10 minutes, I guess. And what was Detective Bad doing when you finally made it? He was waiting for me down on the first floor in the entranceway, pal. As soon as I got here, he ordered me to stand guard in front of lobby number 2. And by he, you mean... Detective Bad, of course, and this being my first time in this courthouse. He also walked with me up to the third-floor hallway in front of the defendant lobbies. And did you meet anyone along the way? Well... Just as we entered the hallway, we ran into Miss Yu. We did see that, didn't we? When he heard from Miss Yu that Mr. Faraday was not to be interrupted. That's when Detective Bad told me to stand guard in the hallway, pal. So far, Detective Gumshoe's testimony is matching up with Detective Bad's. From that time on, until I heard the gunshot, I was in that hallway the whole time. You claim to have been in that hallway the whole time. However, is it not a fact that you did something while you were in that hallway? Of course I did something. I guarded the door to lobby number 2, pal. What else? Very well then. And what exactly does guarding that door entail? Well, to put it simply... Oh, I know, it is my job to stand in front of the door without moving an inch. Oh. Detective Gumshoe, you mean to tell me that you didn't take a single step away from the door to lobby number 2? Is that really what you wish to testify to the effect of? You got it, pal. I didn't take a single step away from that door, just like I was ordered not to. Oh, that whip is at the ready. Oh, why is everyone so quiet all of a sudden? Because we're all in shock and in awe of your utter stupidity. Scruffy, if you're going to lie, at least tell us a more believable one. Ouch! But I'm not lying. I should hurry up and bring this insipid testimony to a close. Yeah. Alright. Sir, you bought a Swiss roll. I have an objection. What is it, pal? Detective Gumshoe, I wonder if you might recognize this from somewhere. Hey, it's one of those things. The courthouse special Swiss rolls, right, pal? Precisely. In that case, I suppose, that you also recall the sullied hallway bench. Hey, you know what? I think it was probably me that did that. Detective Gumshoe, you know you can't go around dirtying up the courthouse like this. You inconsiderate, slovenly pig. I promise to clean it up later, I swear. Now then, shall we get down to business? About the fact that you didn't move even a single step from in front of that door. If that really were the case, then how were you able to buy a pack of Swiss rolls? Furthermore, if you didn't move a single step from in front of that door, how did you manage to get the bench dirty with your grubby hands? Youch! It appears that Franziska's whip can do more damage than my words alone can. Alright, I confess, pal. I was hungry, so I bought a pack for myself, okay? I thought I'd get chewed out again if anyone found out about me eating on the job, so I didn't want to say anything. Well, unfortunately for you, I saw you do the whole dastardly deed. I clearly saw you buying a pack of Swiss rolls from the vending machine. Okay, I'm sorry for lying. That's all I'm sorry for, you got that? Because I'm not holding anything else back. That last statement may sound like it makes sense. However, there is something I don't quite believe about it. Are you sure you're not withholding further information from us? Huh? Of course not. I've got nothing else to hide, pal. Oh, if only that were true, Detective Gumshoe. But it is true, pal. I swear there's nothing else. Detective Gumshoe, I'm sure you are aware of the price of a pack of Swiss rolls, correct? Huh? Remind me again, pal? That vending machine out in the hallway is selling packs of 2 Swiss rolls for $6 a pack. And yet, according to you, you didn't have any cash on you until you cashed your $5 annual bonus check. God, that is the saddest thing I've ever read. Isn't that right? Oh. Let me ask then, how did you manage? That's a typo. To purchase a pack all by yourself. Can you provide me with a proper explanation to that? Oh, I told you I bought it by myself, pal. There wasn't anyone else in that hallway with me, so there's no one who could have helped me buy it. Wait, don't tell me. You've got some kind of proof there was someone else in that hallway, don't you? Correct. As if you could. I mean, what are the chances of that? Wait, you do? Of course I do. What? How? What proof do I have that there must have been someone else in the hallway? Why, it's the balloon piece, of course.
Take that!
What the heck is that? I knew you didn't really have anything. You prosecutors are all the same, always lying to people. You should stop, you know? Wait, what? 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 Did I horribly misclick? How was it not the balloon? Did I really not select this? Hold on. Oh, do we say that the girl had it too? Yeah, they're a pack of 2 Swiss rolls. Gumshoe ate one. Kay Faraday had the other. Okay, I guess it's that.
Take that!
Hey, you showed me that to me not 2 seconds ago, pal. I think you're under the mistaken impression that I bought this pack of rolls. Wait, if you didn't buy it, then that means you must have stolen it, you thief. What? I would never do such a thing. All you liars are the same. You start out as thieves, you're under arrest, pal. I believe you meant to assert that all thieves start out as liars. And in that case, what does that say about you, detective? Gark. This particular Swiss roll was dropped by a certain someone. Oh. There were 2 rolls in this package. Wait. Okay, I know we're living in fantasy Earth with like Japanifornia and Borginia and Cadopia, but I guess this really does mean that Sweden does exist, huh? Yeah, okay. I just put that together. There were 2 rolls in this package. You ate one of them, but you then gave the other one to a certain other person, didn't you? No way, pal. You've got it all wrong. I ate both of them. The little thief was going for the family jewels once again. But this time she was caught red-handed. Okay, that was good. I like the implication that Miles was very much on guard for a repeat. Oh, and good thing he was. Okay. I think this is clearly the best place to end things. Bit of a cliffhanger maybe, but yeah, we're just gonna leave Kay doing a little hoppy hop there. She'll be fine. She won't be tired. She can wait 24 hours. 24 hours to the next video. Anyway, well, we certainly cleared up a lot of stuff. God, we still have just nothing to go on how those bodies were actually turned into bodies. Who's the real killer? And what has Kay seen? What can she see? We really have to hope that Kay can tell us something conclusive or something big, that some implication that we can further research, because after this I don't know what else could be done, man. Someone killed Kay, not Kay, what is the name? His full name? What was Mr. Faraday's full name? I think it was long. I forget. Okay, Mr. Rell and Mr. Faraday. Someone killed them. We have no goddamn idea who. And this case is growing long in the tooth. We should be in the back half of it by now, if the pacing is anything to go by, compared to previous cases in this game. Like, at this point, usually, a culprit is starting to solidify in our minds. But man, we just don't know anything, and it's interesting. I'm almost wondering if this is going to go unsolved. And maybe in the next case, we'll have a very climactic resolution. Like, what if the same dude, namely Manny Cochin, is behind the original KG-8 incident, the second KG-8 incident, and this murder in the courthouse? What if one individual was behind all of that? That would make for a very climactic and satisfying ending. Like, if I were writing this game, that's what I would write. So if this does go unsolved here, I'm about to get really excited. I'll say that much. Anyway, I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more Ace Attorney Investigations. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.